Welcome to Loving Classroom, a lifetime of good relationships in 8 lessons. The program is built on 4 components. Number 1, the Loving Classroom textbook. It contains the 8 lessons and also follow-up material. The 8 lessons are respect, compassion, listening, kindness, gratitude, love, care, and friendship. Number 2, there are 8 PowerPoints to help you smoothly navigate through each of the lessons in the classroom. They can be downloaded from number 3, our website at lovingclassroom.com. And number 4 is this video, a training video to help put everything together and launch the program. In fact, a couple of months ago, I went to a school. They asked me to check out some of the Loving Classroom facilitators to see how's it going. And I noticed a lady who wasn't on the training course. And I said, well, you did a really good job. How come? I mean, you weren't on the course. And she said, well, I didn't really need the course. I just read through the book and it was very clear. So I started to think, well, maybe you don't need a training course. In the end, I came to the conclusion it's very good to read through the book, every single word. That's a fabulous training course. However, there are a few comments that are worth making. Number 1 is, the basic idea behind the book is that love can be taught. And by the way, on the front cover, it doesn't say Loving Classroom because one of the teachers mentioned maybe some of the boys won't like walking around with a textbook that says love on the front. Yeah, I understand that. So we put the title in the middle. But it is about love. What is love? And how can we train ourselves to love more people around the world, within our localized relationships at all levels? So the first point is that I believe, and I think after you go through the book, you'll realize love, like any other subject, can be taught. And the second point about learning is if you can learn them, I actually believe that love, therefore, should be part of the curriculum in schools throughout the world. Imagine a world in which, let's start with, 1/4 of the world's schools are learning seriously how to love people. And they end up being more loving. So when we love one another, there's no problem we can't solve because we want to work together. We respect each other. We realize that there are solutions to every problem. So humanity can solve its problems if we love one another. What other topic can you say can do that if you master it? That humanity will solve its solutions if we learn more math. I'm not saying math's not good. I got a degree in mathematics. If we learn more history, maybe helps. But if we learn love, we'll be able to solve all the problems that we're facing. So I believe that love, can be taught, and therefore it should be part of the obligatory curriculum throughout the world. Second point is, before you start the course, if you look at the end of your introduction, you'll get this page which says evaluation. Very important page, evaluation. Please take it seriously. It's very important to know that the material works where it works. We need a little bit of a boost. Hey, that's good. And also where it doesn't work, we need to improve the product. We know that it's like a comedian. He tells jokes. Some of them are good. He keeps them in. And some of them are bad. They flop, so he just drops them. But the ones that work across the board. And that's the same thing with teaching love. It's very important to know what's working. Next point. Let's look through the book to see if there are other points. These 8 lessons are actually divided into 4 units. The goal of the course and then head, heart and hand. So the goal of the course is what we call a healthy humanity being. Just like a human being has many parts working together in harmony, so too our ultimate goal is a healthy humanity being with all the parts of humanity working together in harmony. Just like in the body, we have different parts, the same as in humanity. It's not like we're saying everybody needs to be one, but we need to be working together in harmony like a body does. And then, of course, some parts are more important than other parts. The brain is more important than my hand, but you know what? I love my hand just as much. And it's not a human experience if it's just the brain without the hand. So even though there's a hierarchy and some are leaders, some are followers, there's no jealousy between my brain and my hand. There's a way that the body has found a certain harmony to work together, and that's the goal for the humanity being. Sort of like replicate the beauty of the human being. So the two lessons for humanity being are A, respect, recognizing that everybody is an important part to play in that humanity being, and then compassion, how we deal with people when they're not so easy to get on with, developing tools so that everybody can be included, even the ones that, are a bit difficult to deal with. What about the exceptions? There's a lot of things going on in this world where there are exceptions of people that really don't fit in. We deal with that question as well, but you can read the answer in the textbook. Then comes head. How can we communicate so that we really work together to be able to figure out what it takes to cultivate a healthy humanity being? So to do that, first of all, we need to be good listeners. And there's material on learning how to listen to what people are saying and also to listen to what people are feeling. Tremendous listening. But there's no point listening or trying to listen if the other person's not talking. And so we also included under communication what I call kindness. In other words, if we're not kind to one another, we're not going to talk to each other. So it's very important to enable a person to feel safe and loved and cared for, to be kind to that person, to give them a smile, to give them space, to be nice to people. And when we're nice to people, they'll also open up and share with us what's important to be shared. So in order to create good communication, we have listening and kindness. Then on the emotional level, we have tools, A, gratitude, to feel how much I'm benefiting from all these people around me. Amazing. And then love. Instead of how much I'm benefiting, how much I want you to succeed, to be fulfilled, as Confucius put it. I love this source from Confucius. He says, let's find it. To love a thing is wanting it to live. To live means to be successful, to be healthy, to be fulfilled, and without even meeting you. I love you. I really want you to be successful and fulfilled. Of course, if I meet you, I can learn about your wonderful qualities. And if we have failings, we can also learn about compassion. But the world is rich with opportunities to love. So love is about how can I make a world better for you to thrive and flourish in it. And then on the hand level, we take what we know in our heads from communication, understanding ideas, and what we feel in our hearts and convert it into actions. As my wife says, and I love this line, she says, David, it's nice that you say I love you, but the dishes are dirty. I'm sort of like this philosopher, and she's wonderful for converting the lovely ideas into practice. How do we treat one another? Or as John Lennon put it, it's very nice, and I still believe in all you need is love, but there's one thing saying it, what we got to do is do it. When it comes to the doing, by the way, there are two types of programs. One is what I call Care for the World, generally speaking, and there we give class projects so that we can do a project maybe on the head level, or on a heart level, or on a hand level, and I'll explain what they are shortly. But the point of a class project is that we get to use all the qualities and values that we developed throughout the course. So if it's just one project, me and a few people working together to do the project, then we don't really get to work as a team and learn about respect and patience and listening and compassion and all these values. But when we work together as a class, that's a perfect environment for actually developing the qualities on a practical level. So even more important than the project and its outcome is the fact that we manage to work together. So on the head level, we have how to dialogue. Once I ran a dialogue for people that were very fancy and very important, but they ended up fighting each other. So I handed out what I called the 10 Commandments to have a good fight. In the appendix number 1, you'll see those 10 Commandments. And they said, oh, that's wonderful. And then I remember seeing those 10 Commandments, that lovely piece of paper just fall on the floor and forgotten about. And I realized what we really need is a class per, as it were, of those 10 Commandments, and then really understand them, and then we can go into a dialogue. It ended up, instead of being 10 classes, it ended up being 8 classes. And then we can go into a dialogue where we're truly listening. So that's the point of the dialogue, and we can be dialoguing issues around the world, whether it be child labour or abuse, down to problems with local police or problems within the school, or all sorts of problems. But the dialogue isn't us against them, It's the humanity being. We're all one, and we're trying to figure out, in a loving way, a solution together. But now we have all the tools to really work together. And then on a heart level, we have an example project, which is learning how to become medical clowns. And then on a hand level, we have projects whereby, for example, you can invite parents of children with special needs, and they come in and teach the students how to be able to babysit for them. And then the students as a classroom can do a rota to be able to babysit certain children with special needs so the parents can get a really needed rest. So that's not building up a relationship, it's just providing a service. So there's hand-type projects, heart-type projects, head-type projects. Those are just 3 examples. We have many more examples, and you can email us for more examples. But the point of these projects is to take the theoretical values of what we think is the right way to relate to each other and convert it into actual action. And then finally, the final doing project is what we call Friends for Life. After we define what is a friend, then the idea is, some of us, when we grow older, there's going to be like 30 people in the classroom. Some of us will become very successful, make money, have good health, have a good family. But some of us will also sadly get divorced. Some of us will lose money. Some of us will have bad health in our life and suffer. So if you were one of the successful ones, where life was good, money was good, health was good, life was working out, would you want to be there for one of your fellow students who are really suffering, maybe financially or health-wise? Would you want to be there to help them? Not 24/7, but at least to know about their problems and somehow maybe help. So Friends for Life is an idea. It's like, why not meet every 10 years? So then you have to choose somebody to be able to maybe coordinate, or 2 people. It tells you instructions how to do that. But the idea is that in 10 years' time, we can all get together as a class and see how we're all doing. And if somebody's suffering, not being condescending with sensitivity, one can help those that are suffering. It's very important also to look at all the instructions. I went along to a class, for example, in the first lesson where there's an exercise where you are trying to define your top 5 loving classroom qualities, what the class feels will make a loving classroom and thereby a loving world. So after defining those qualities, the teacher wrote them on the board, and then at the end of the class just rubbed them out forevermore. And it's so painful, because those qualities, they work really hard to articulate them, and those qualities are what they want to buy into to make a loving classroom. It's such a shame they went away. So if you carry on with the instructions, it does say, in time for your next lesson, choose a few volunteers to produce a loving classroom poster that lists and illustrates your top 5 qualities. Make sure there's space for everyone to sign it. And then at the beginning of the next lesson, have everyone sign the loving classroom poster and hang it up somewhere. Somewhere prominent in the classroom. It's your loving classroom mission statement. And in fact, all classes should be conducted in the spirit of a loving classroom according to your poster. So allocate somebody, take responsibility to put those posters together, a poster together, and hang it on the wall. So the teacher didn't even read the second part of the instructions, and then lost out on years of having this poster on the wall as a reference point of how we want to create a loving world. So it's very important to read all the little instructions. And maybe one final instruction is at the end of each workshop, there's a request for a few volunteers to open up the next workshop with some sort of warm, uplifting, unifying, get into the spirit performance. Of course, in the first workshop, you can't expect that. So I'm asking you, the teacher, to come up with something. Sometimes I do a magic trick, pick a card, and then they shuffle, and then everybody has to think together to get the card into an orange. And at the beginning, not everybody's thinking, so you can make a lot of fun and saying it's not working because not everybody's thinking. So that's introducing the concept of oneness produces miraculous results. So it's fun, but it's also got the message of what it is to be a loving classroom. Come on, let's work together. And then when everybody does work together, of course, the card goes into the orange. They peel the orange and they're like, whoa! If anybody wants to do that trick as an opener, you can email david@lovingclassroom.com and I'll send you instructions. Or alternatively, I got inspired one day and I wrote a song. Shortly, to finish off the video, I'll play you the song. But once we've done it as teachers to open up the first one with like 10, 20, 30 seconds of song or a little magic trick, then we can ask the students each lesson, please, for the next lesson, will you kindly open up that lesson with some sort of mini performance just to get us into a good mood. It's a wonderful icebreaker. And it could be a dance, it could be something off the internet that they saw, YouTube that they want to show other people that's warm and inspiring. It could be some healthy jokes, or it can be all sorts of things. The book lists all sorts of options. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to email us as well. Finally, I suppose at the end of the book in Appendix 2, you have what we called lesson plans. And these lesson plans are there to help you to produce your own lesson plans. At the beginning, you've got the goal of the lesson and then what to bring along. And every now and again, you get what's called a learning outcome. For example, the class, over 80%, when I say the class, I always mean over 80%, agreed on their top 5 loving classroom qualities. That's an outcome. And if you go to that page, you'll see there's a place to tick, yes, they did it, they did it. And at the end of the class, you can go back to that appendix and see how many of the outcomes were achieved. And hopefully, as you go through the course, you'll be able to see that you actually achieve these outcomes. And if you achieve the learning outcomes, then the chances are you'll be truly achieving a loving classroom. So, how does one finish off? So maybe let's go back to that Confucius quotation. There's lots of quotations in this book, and the reason why they're from all sorts of different backgrounds is to show that the world is really into the idea of love and oneness, from all different cultures and religions, and also science and so forth, believes in the idea of oneness, a unified field theory, etc. So I have all these quotations, but I always get drawn back to this Confucius quotation, thank you very much, that I want you to have a wonderful life full of success and fulfillment and health, a life full of very, very good, excellent relationships. Thank you very much. This is David Geffen. Cheerio. Peace.
Looking for the light in you, yeah, and you and you and you and you. Wow, 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 everybody's got the light, yeah, find it and we'll be alright. He said I'm useless, just a waste of time. I said, but your smile, it's beautiful and kind. He said, you mean it? I said, yes. He said,